Does the Master Grade Quanta still hold up 8 years later? Without a doubt. Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome back to another Master Grade Gunpla review, and I know it's been a while because these don't come out nearly enough anymore. But all I can say is when they do come out, they are fantastic, and that definitely goes for this right here. Of course, once again, this video would not be possible without those awesome people over at Hobbylink Japan, so if you want a Quanta full saber of your own, then check out that link down there in the description. Before getting into the actual model kit itself, I have to say that the box art on this is absolutely savage. And funnily enough, this is very nostalgic for me because it was the 00 box arts that actually got me into Gunpla again after a couple of dodgy wing high grades. But definitely, this box art is mind-blowing. I'll also mention, and just like a lot of you guys said on Instagram, the logo in the corner is blue. This is really odd, and I'll also mention at this point that when you take a look at the older runners, the ones from 2010, which most of this kit is based on, you'll see that it says the normal thing, which is Bandai 2010. But if you take a look at the newer runners, it says Bandai Spirits 2018. And honestly, I don't understand that either. If you know why the logo's blue, why it says this, then make sure to drop it down there in the comments and I'll pin it. And from what we can see on the sides of the box, this thing is packing a whole lot of heat, so that's enough about the box. Let's check out the model kit itself. So finally, there is what it will look like out of the box and snap together. And considering this kit right here is pretty much 95% the same kit we saw back in 2010, there's not really a whole lot of point in going through it too much, so let's do this pretty quickly. First off, the only thing that's new about this is the backpack around here. Everything else is exactly the same, and the old variant of the backpack is included. All in all, this thing has aged so well. This, to me, doesn't feel like a kit from so long ago. It's so perfect. I guess if you do something right once, you don't have to do it right again. There's a quick look at it with its older siblings, the Exia and the 007 sword. As for some things I will mention about this, however, is the blue does mark quite a lot, and it's got really old style nub placement, so it is really easy to get stress marks all over that if you're not careful. Also, I had totally forgotten in the last 8 years since this came out that mold lines were a thing. So between the stress marks on the blue as well as the mold lines, this will take a little longer to put together perfectly than a more up-to-date Master Grade. Again, as another offshoot of the fact that this is an 8-year-old kit, all of the inner frame parts are made out of ABS plastic. This can affect the paints you use on it, so if you are painting it, make sure to take care. Also, the new sections of grey, they're not ABS, so they're a little bit different looking, a little bit more matte than the ABS parts, but not really all that noticeable. All in all, when I did know that this was basically just a rehash of the older kit, I didn't expect it to be this good. I forgot how good the 00 Master Grades are. This thing is as solid as a rock and looks absolutely fantastic. Top marks right here. As for the decals included in the box, we've got a standard set of foils. Most of these are just for the lenses as well as the GN condensers. A standard set of sticker style decals. I'm not a big fan of these personally. Most of those are just for the minor decals as well as the white accents for the blue parts. Lastly then, we've got a set of dry transfers. These personally are my favorite style of transfer. Easy to apply and they look absolutely perfect. So there's the Master Grade Quanta full saber with everything that it comes with, and what can I say, this is a lot of plastic and a lot of clear plastic, which makes me happy. I'm gonna get the stuff that came with the original Master Grade Quanta out of the way first. And of course, that's the GN shield, which can pop up onto the shoulder. We have the GN Sword 5, of course that can be in sword mode or rifle mode. We've an adapter in here to attach it onto the side skirting armor. Also, we have the 6 GN Sword bits. Of course, once again, these can attach onto the shield or onto the sword to make the GN Buster Sword. We've got the GN drive that can be used in the stand or in the mobile suit itself. This has 2 sections for using with LED units, which I have to admit, as a variant suit, I would like to have seen those included. It would have bumped up the price another 1,000 yen, but I would have been happy paying that, not to have to go get them separately. As for the stuff that's new for this kit right here, we've got an action base. This is for supporting the weapons because they are so damn huge. And the main event of this kit right here is the GN Sword 4 Full Saber. So this is made out of a whole lot of individual parts and can be put together in so many different ways. This is one of, if not the coolest Gundam sword I have ever laid my eyes on. It's made up of 5 different elements. That is 3 GN Gunblades, the GN Katar, and this bulky little shield-like section here. As for the different combinations this thing can be made into, the GN Gunblades on their own can be in Gunblade mode, Blade mode, and Twin Edge mode. The large blade section using this handle here can be made into the GN Katar mode. This piece can then be changed to a multitude of firing positions. By doing that, you just pull off the guitar handle, attach the gun mode onto the bottom of that, and this can be done in either way according to the instructions, and then in order to change it into launcher mode from that rifle mode, you just stick the other two gun blades onto the side, like this. Attach the shield-like handle section and one of the gun blades, and you've got Saber mode, and of course once again slap them all together and you've got the absolutely massive GN Sword 4 Full Saber. And I'm sure like me, all of you guys have the question, can it hold up that sword? And the answer is, well, almost. Because it's made out of ABS, it tends to grip a little better than the standard Gundam plastic, but over time that is gonna sag, but Bandai made no illusions about whether or not this would hold it up. That's why they included the stand after all. But all in all, did better than I thought. It's also worth mentioning that this kit does come with the older backpack, so you can make this into the actual original Quanta if you want to. So this kit right here is essentially the standard version plus the Saber. Also, there are two variants of the antenna, the original kind of squared off blunt version and a new sharper variant. And the last couple of things in here then are the action base adapter as well as a 1/100th scale figure of Setsuna F-Sei. So moving quickly onto the articulation, and seeing as this right here isn't exactly a new kit, there isn't really a whole lot of point of me going through absolutely everything on this, but I will mention that the articulation is absolutely and utterly fantastic. Pretty much any pose that you want, you're going to get out of this kit. The only thing it really doesn't have that much of is a forward ab crunch. It has a little bit, not a lot, but if that's the only complaint, you know this thing is awesome. And lastly, I'm going to mention the only two real negative aspects to this. That is a couple of annoying loose parts, as well as those hands. As for the loose parts, the backpack is barely held on. It carries so much weight, and all that's holding it is these two tiny little pins of the GN drive, as well as this part down here. It really could have done with something on top to clip it in, but it has nothing, and it will be a bit of a headache. If you're never going to use an LED unit, glue the GN drive together, and it will save you so much trouble. The second set of loose parts are the side skirts. These pop off all the time as well, again annoying, and they do limit the outward movement of the legs when they're down. And the very last thing I'll mention as a negative point are those hands. Those are those old school 00 hands which they scrapped for a reason. They are on a few kits, but they just aren't good at all. They don't look dynamic in the least. They always have curled fingers, 3 of which are attached. The index and the thumb are free. Of course, you can do the old modification of chopping those 3 fingers apart like this, but personally in my opinion it's not worth the effort. It doesn't look a whole lot better, and suddenly the hands become just a lot more finicky to pose. For me, the biggest down point about these kind of hands is they do not last. Over time, that little peg in the palm of the hand gets a little worn down, so do the holes in the weapons, and eventually you'll find it won't be able to hold them just as well as it used to. Like I said before, these style of hands were scrapped for a reason. But anyway, that is it for the review, and besides the 2 negative aspects of the loose parts as well as those old style hands, this still gets a gold. Out of the box, this is a fantastic looking kit. It's got one hell of a set of accessories with it, so damn cool. The articulation is out of this world. It's got LED functionality, would have been a bit better if it had those LEDs in there. But all in all, this is a solid kit. If you want one of your own, as usual, you can get one down there in the link in the description. As always, make sure to come back for more Gunpla reviews, and I'll see you next time.